Welcome to Did She Really Say That? The conversation that we're having with female entrepreneurs about a new way to build your business. And inside of this, we have things that we kind of question and say, did she really say that? Because they're shocking, they're truthful, and they're what are going to make the biggest difference for female entrepreneurs. Hi, everyone. My name is Chef Katrina. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been teaching and training the industry for the last 15 years around digital marketing, product creation, funnels, et cetera, et cetera. I love what we're building here inside of Truth Bomb. I am one of the co-founders here, joined by my other two co-founders. And I love teaching the breakdown of simple systems, simple marketing, and a simple process that allows you as a woman to really build your business. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm joined by my co-hosts.
Heidi Muma. I homeschooled my kids.
We're gonna have the giggles for
I
a
know.
while.
Okay. I homeschooled my kids for the past 17 years, also while building a couple different businesses, couple different investment opportunities too, just to also supplement that income for the family. But also doing that helped me to create the lifestyle that I really loved. And so when my kids graduated, as they're all nice, so lovely, successful adults now, I did not want to. I love entrepreneurship for the lifestyle and that it provides and lets me to live. And so when I was had the opportunity to join my co-founders here inside Truth Bomb Academy and what we are able to help other women create as they're creating more time as they're creating their businesses and building those businesses to what they're passionate about, not necessarily what somebody has given them or told them to do. So I love that for the women that are inside of here.
And I'm Karen Angeli. I am also a co-founder here inside of Truth Bomb Marketing, and I love entrepreneurship as well. I am actually by trade a nurse anesthetist. I've done that for 10 years. Realized that healthcare wasn't for me, didn't want to continue to live that life, turned to entrepreneurship, and I don't know, I really love the whole concept of when I first got into entrepreneurship, how I needed to really wrap my brain around a new way of thinking. And that's really what I am truly about. I love the marketing, I love all the other stuff, but what I truly am about is just wrapping your mind around a new way of thinking and actually creating a new reality for yourself instead of continuing to create the reality that you don't love. So that's what we're all about. We're having fun.
Yeah. And I love that we come from such different sides of the coin around entrepreneurship, right? And we each have developed a passion around this. And I think that's what really drew us together when we looked at, how did we want to develop this company, Truth Bomb Marketing? How did we want to develop this academy, Truth Bomb Academy for Women, and really even design the Unlocking My Millions, our premier training where we really do dive in and walk women through a new way to do business, a new planning around business. And I think that's just been one of the fun things to work with all of us on, is just the contribution each of us have had inside of here, right? I mean, it's been pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. The last as we were going through the playbook that we've created, I mean, the thought process amongst all of that has definitely changed. Would you agree, Karen?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Yep. It's been an interesting process because what we did when we looked at creating our business plan, our playbook, was we took what our mentor had given us and we were like, okay, wait a minute, like a lot of this doesn't work for us. Like I know when we looked at like the strategic partnerships, we all kind of vomited outside and inside because it was like, who does that? Like strategic partnerships, that just feels gross. And like I don't care if you're a man or a woman, like to me that just feels icky. So we looked at what he had and he had a lot of great information in there. And so we wanted to really highlight the good stuff, but we also wanted to say, how does this actually work for females? How can women actually look at what they want to do with their life, look at what they want to do with a potential business, and actually create a business that they want to, instead of looking at this very dry business plan that honestly, when I looked at it, I remember thinking, I don't even know how to answer this question because I don't know what he's asking. So there was a lot that we kind of looked at and we tweaked, we made better. And to be completely honest, this business plan has been proven. It's been used by, what was it, universities in Australia have used this for years and years. It's proven to create that 7-figure entrepreneur. But when we looked at it for women, it was just like, well, and really, like when I say women, I also go, yeah, I feel like men need to kind of smooth down the edges too. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. We'll get there. We'll smooth down those edges. But really, women already know that we need a change, that we can't keep doing all the things that men are telling us to do. I know for myself, that's where I got into a lot of trouble, is that it was like, I'm doing all the things that they're telling me to do, but all I'm feeling is more depression and frustration, and I want to crawl in a hole, and when is it going to happen? And
Yeah.
it just gets old after a while.
It's interesting that you say that, because I was remembering that we were sitting down with a successful guru in the movie industry. He is a well-known expert. He does a lot, and I'm not going to give away his craft, but he's also a well-established businessman. He takes on coaching clients to really help them design and build their business. He's got that mind for it. And it's really was interesting to sit down with him, because he was asking of us, we told him we were starting a new business. We were creating it specifically designed for female entrepreneurship. We wanted to teach women how to build while tapping back into their bodies, into themselves, which I know is super important for the three of us. And I think, and for women in general, to have this conversation, right? And when we were talking with him, I really, honestly, I don't know if Heidi was as surprised as I was, Karen, but what he said was, I'm working with female entrepreneurs. I'm working with this lady, and she's got this great business idea. And every time we meet, we go over what's happening, and she just gets stuck. She repeatedly gets stuck, right? And every time we move the needle forward, she either gets stuck or she shuts down. And he's like, and it's frustrating for me because I'm not able to really break through or understand or relate to what she's dealing with. And he's like, I was really shocked. He's like, I think what she needs is actually you guys, you ladies, right? She actually needs the relatability of another female entrepreneur in the community and what we're building. He's like, because I'm missing it. I can't get through, right? She's doing all the things. This doesn't sound familiar at all. She's doing all the things, and yet she's not moving the needle forward. And I think when I heard that one, I was like, wait a minute. He's like, yeah. He's like, what you guys are creating is really needed right now for women. And it was a little bit of like, whoa. Like, I got that we were building something incredible. Like, we knew that from the start when we built it. We built this and started creating this playbook, and we created this academy, and we started putting all these pieces together. As you said, it can't be what's already out there. It's got to be a different version of what's out there. It's what did you call it, Karen? The alternate reality, the shift. Like, you have to create your own new reality for this. And that's really what we were up to. And to do that, we had to, Karen, has to lean into the mindset piece. And this is where she thrives inside of this. Like, I love that, you're building out this mental mindset piece inside of here. Like, everything that we do for women is so geared to their inner self. And I just love what you're creating for that. It's really interesting.
It was interesting conversation because this man's brilliant. And the advice that he's given this lady has worked for many, many people. But it was like this disconnect. It was like, it wasn't the business advice or the business to-dos that she needed. It was something that was disconnected. It It was just something that was missing. It wasn't like he needed to add anything to the conversation. It was something that he could provide, because as a man and a woman, it's like there's just a difference in the conversation. And it was something that's like, seemed like there was something missing that he didn't have to offer. And it wasn't that it was that it didn't work. It was just she needed something else.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I've personally been there where it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm doing all the do, what the actual hell is going on? And
Right,
I've
right.
had mentors be like, well, I don't understand why you're stuck. Like, I've literally had mentors be like, well, I don't understand either. Say it to my face. Like, that doesn't feel very good.
Yeah.
But that's when you're like, oh no, I gotta figure this out on my own. Like, this person literally has made 7 figures and they don't know. I gotta figure this out. And so for me, the last time I heard that, I went, okay, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me. I got to go inside. I have to figure out where the block is. And fortunately for me, I had already done a lot of personal development. I had actually started on my meditation journey. Let's see, I've been an entrepreneur for 9 years now. I started my meditation journey around the 8-9 year mark. So it's been about 8 or 9 years that I've been meditating. So I had already been on this journey of figuring out how to rewire my brain. And one of the best ways I've discovered is through meditation, because it's literally like, yeah, a thought pops up while you're meditating and you go, okay, I don't really need to worry about that. That's great that that's coming up, but I can let that go. I can't tell you any other better way to rewire your mind other than just a thought comes up and you passively let it go. You don't force it out. You just go, okay, bye. Like you things are a lot easier to let go when you practice that kind of thing over and over again. So I turned to a lot of things in that time when I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. I've been successful, but now I'm stuck again. What's going on? So I turned inward. Like, I mean, actually, at first, I did a lot of outward stuff. I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? I'm doing all the things. And then finally, I was like, okay, I have to turn inward. And so I really decided about 3 years ago, like it was a firm decision. I'm never not meditating. I'm going to meditate every day. Like this is a habit that is now necessary for me. I've got to figure this out. And I've tried other things. I've done journaling. I've done, God, you name it. I've probably tried it. And everything else, just there was nothing that fully I could just pinpoint what it was, what's going on.
Yeah.
And so as I started my meditation journey, I started realizing that I was on the wrong path. I was on the wrong journey. I was doing the wrong thing. And I wasn't ready to let go yet. That was the hard part too, because I had spent so many years learning this. I was really good at it. I enjoyed it. But I wasn't ready to let it go. And I knew that I was on the wrong path, but I continued, even though I had been meditating, I continued until I finally had a mentor. She worked with me and she was like, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like, I know, but, and so it was just the realization of, I can continue to do what I love, but there needs to be massive tweaks and I don't have to do it all by myself. And even with that mentor, she was like, I can see you working with other people. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what that looks like. But honestly, like after going internally to figure these things out, to figure out how things are going to look, I will never go externally ever again.
Yeah.
Like literally, like when people give me their advice, I'm like, that's good advice. Let me go ask me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like when you talk about this too, and I think a lot of women are staying stuck. I remember we've talked to a lot of our members in our community recently. We started like interviewing them because not only do we want them to share their story, but they share a lot of similarities around that. You know, every single one of them got stuck in their business. And every training that's out there kept giving them more things to do, but didn't actually support or shift the conversation enough for them, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at, you know, yes, we're talking about doing the internal conversation, and you still need to be part of a conversation and a training that serves you to be able to go in and ask yourself, is this right for me? Is this the right path for my business? Right. So we're always looking as women, it's like, yes, we want you to do the work internally, but we also want you to be part of the conversation that's different from what's out there. Right. Every woman is getting stuck in business. They're hitting plateaus, they're disappearing. We've talked about that on previous episodes, where women that we know that are successful entrepreneurs have literally disappeared from the scene. They've just completely shut down, shut off, gone away altogether. And then the vision they had, the purpose they had, the joy that they were going to bring into the world is gone with them, because the method and the strategy they had in place was destined for them to burn out. Right? Because it was so heavy in the masculine to do energy, and the balance that women really need between what we're doing and how we're living our lives has never been addressed. Right? Because it's not a common conversation. It's not something that I can ever remember going into any training. I mean, self-development training, probably Karen's probably the only exception to this one with what she's gone through with meditation. But there hasn't been a single training that said, all right, let's get present back into your body. Let's go take a moment and like breathe, like take 3 deep breaths. Like there is some of that out there, and there are incredible women that are actually addressing this right now. Right. And what I'm seeing though is that, again, it's just a piece of, right? Like I'm still seeing, even as women, because this is how we're taught to run a business. You're going to go and teach the money side over here because that's your genius. You're going to go and teach, you know, the meditation side over here. You're going to go teach sound over here. You're going to go teach, you know, business strategy or marketing strategy over here. And they're also disconnected from each other, as if they're different,
as if they're separate,
entities. And what we've discovered as we put together this playbook that we're diving into again this week, and we're teaching women how to go through this process, right? First, who are you? Which I think is the key ingredient here, right? Who are you, right? What is it that you truly desire and want? And it's so interesting because every time we do this part of our training, so many women like sit back and just are like, wow, I've forgotten who I am. I've forgotten what my achievements are. I've forgotten the dreams that I've wanted in my life, right? And it's so interesting to get them back into that as they dive into their business, because it gets them really set for what we bring into next, right? Because the whole idea is that we walk them through this journey, that no matter where you are in your season and in life, you can use this playbook to really manifest and create the business and the life that you want. Not because someone says you have to do it this way, right? But because you choose to do it this way, right? And we're presenting more of like the idea of what it is, but we're also telling you to try it on, right? Because failure is part of the game. You will try different things. We talk about this all the time. You know, we've gone down different paths. I've tried different marketing tactics. I've tried different ways to build. And I'm like, why do I keep going against what I love to do? Right. Just because some new guru out there is telling me this is how it goes. And I think that's one of the interesting things that I love about what we do here, is that we get to play. We really do. And we invite the women. Like, I love our collaboration. I love what we're creating with that. I have a couple ideas of things that I'd like to invite the women that are going through this, because there's so much more collaboration we could be doing to help elevate each other faster. And it's like, we went so competitive in our marketing that we missed the syndication and the collaboration that we talk about. Because what I just discovered the other day while I was going through a syndication process, because I'm looking for better ways to help women market their business, right? So Karen, the other day, I stumbled across basically a syndication magazine, right? So we create for us a magazine, and then inside the academy, what we are going to do is post where women can say, hey, this is my blog, this is my video, this is my podcast. And what's great is that the women can then go through and syndicate that, which is relatable or comparable to what they're doing in their business, right? Because we do need the support. This is where even now we talked about, it's like your genius is finances, right? And event planning, like this one right here. She likes planning stuff all over the place.
Because
I love the anticipation. I have to plan it so I have something to anticipate.
Yeah.
I'm there for the fun. I don't want to plan where the cocktails.
I just plan it. We're on one trip, and I'm already planning the next one.
Good for you.
It's like I'm like, okay, I can't go home. I can't get on this plane without knowing when I can get on the plane again.
And I love you for that. I love just being like, I'm here. I'm having a good time. And I love that you're like, I want to plan this because I don't want to do it.
Yeah. She loves planning things for the community. Like her whole, like, I'm almost envisioning eventually she's gonna have this huge board of all the things that she wants to do with this community in terms of like the gifts and everything else. But I love that we collaborate, right? It's like, it's that piece that when we start teaching it, and as we start sharing that with the women, is going to blow away everything else you've been technically learning out there. Because now you're having people wanting to syndicate and wanting to share your content because it's relatable to their industry. And we teach that collaboration because it's such a key component for us women. Like you want women to succeed, and we've been talking about this. You've seen movements. It's like support women, or there's a whole bunch of different things that are out there to really get women, elevate women, things like that. I know there's a couple of other ones out there. Yeah. But you can hear us. You can hear our battle cry as female entrepreneurs. You can hear a battle cry as women that we should be supporting each other more in what we're doing. And that's something that's been so much fun actually to look at and start crafting inside the academy because it's different.
It is different. And I love like hearing both of you talk about how it's like, it's like listening to yourself and what yourself is telling you. And it's like when you hear, and I think so many times we've been gifted businesses, or we've been gifted like or different ways that we've gotten involved in businesses. And it's like, and always listening to the gurus. And it's like, but I love like hearing inside the academy, the first thing like we actually have women do is that self-reflection, and that what is actually important to me? What am I actually passionate about? And I keep coming back to this quote from one of our members, and it's because it's like right in front of me. It's like, she said, it's like, my bullshit filter is overflowing. And she really say that? Well, we have the thing on the thing, so I can say that.
We have the E for explicit, so you can say that.
that. But it's like, but that's the thing. It's like we get so full of the information that everybody else is telling us to do. You have to do this or you won't be successful. You have to do this to be successful. And it's like, do we really? Do you really? Is that really the only way to be successful? And it's just like, I think that's like, but the magic that is happening inside here, it's like, we're actually discovering that, no, there's like, there's a million ways to $1 million. There really is.
So you call them bullshit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't want to discount any of my mentors along the way. I have had some great advice, as all three of us have absolutely great advice. That's not what we're doing right now. We're just literally going, wait, do you really need to be doing that? And like when Heidi talks about like checking in with your body, like that's literally what I do. So this past week has been an interesting one for me. I have not had a reaction to gluten like this probably ever. And I honestly haven't reacted to gluten at all in probably over a year. But my body decided to have a reaction to it. And I kind of went, okay, there's a pattern here. So here's the secret. If there is something that keeps showing up in your life, whether it's health related, or maybe you are trying to lose weight, or you're trying to find the love of your life, or whatever, and you just keep having the same pattern over and over again, it's because you have a pattern in you that you're playing out all the time. Subconsciously. Subconsciously, that's the hard part, okay? You don't necessarily know that it's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I knew, okay, what's the pattern? And I asked myself that. What's the pattern here? I'm like literally doubled over in pain. What's my pattern? And I'm just like, just in so much pain. But it was like, okay, what am I doing? So I had some wild meditations this week. I'm not going to lie to you. And I had a lot of aha moments that it was like, oh, duh. What in the world? I can't believe I'm still doing that. But it was literally like, oh, well, it's just a reminder that you went in a direction maybe you didn't want to go. Like, here's the thing, how I look at life now. Things aren't right, wrong, good or bad. It wasn't good or bad that I got severely allergically responding to that gluten this week. It wasn't bad. It just was a symptom of what I had been thinking. So if I don't want to continue to feel that way, I have to change my thoughts. And that means I have to go inside internally. And this was a very deep subconscious thought. I know exactly what the thought was. I can literally go back in my life into childhood and be like, oh, I played that out real good. I played the victim card real good there. I need to change that every time I notice it pop up again. And that's the hard part. You don't always notice when it pops up, but when you do, and you have decided, I don't want to live like that anymore, I don't want to live with that thought anymore, there has to be another response that comes up instead of the old response. The old response is going to continue to bring you exactly where you've been. If you want a new result in your life, you have to have a new thought. You have to have a new process that's replaced by it. So you better believe I figured out what the subconscious thought was, and then I started rehearsing, how am I going to respond when this comes up? And guess what? It came up in a very unsuspecting way, in a way that doesn't normally come up, but it came up. The first time I didn't catch it, but the second time I did. And I went, oh, I can change. And so it was literally like, oh wow, this is the moment I've been waiting for. And I was like, okay, let's see what I can do here. And I changed how I responded. I changed. I did something differently. Now those moments add up over time.
Yeah.
Your body and your brain start to go, oh, you're living in a whole new reality. Let's put you in that new reality now. Yeah. This is the same thing with your business. Whether it's your health, your business, your love life, your whatever, I don't know, it doesn't matter. This is the same process. Yep. What is the action? What is it that I'm doing? What is the subconscious behavior? Because a lot of times it is a childhood subconscious behavior that when you can actually tweak and change, there's a whole new reality that can pump out right after that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that we talk about in this conversation around what we were teaching, right? Yes, we're teaching business. We're teaching women how to become millionaires. And to teach women how to become millionaires, we have to pull back all these different layers. And we also have to share with you the reality of the tools you actually have available to you and the things that you already have locked away inside of you. This is why it's called unlocking my millions, right? Because in you is the millions. In you is the opportunity to create whatever life you want. And it's going to take you going through a new conversation to change this. The guys are asking for this. The businessmen of the world are asking for this. I have seen more emails come from gurus that I've seen out there over this year alone, actually, that have said we have women that are ready to teach women, because that was one of our big conversations. You guys remember talking about this? We actually, when we first sat down, we're like, why are there not more female business speakers? Why are there not more books around these topics that men are writing about? That why aren't women writing about this? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on that we're not leading the way in some of these areas of business that are just so innate to us? Like, that didn't make any sense. So I know that, you know, we want to change the conversation, and the guys are asking for it. They're looking for women that can relate and teach women how to build a new business, but we can't keep building off of the old information. Like, it has to be shifted to a feminine perspective. And I know when we were talking with one of our members yesterday, Julie, she goes, you know, you are so focused on serving women and being in that conversation with women. That's what's so refreshing, right? It's not just, hey, you know, this is repackaged what's already out there.
Right.
We've actually said, no, we can't just repackage it. We have to actually literally reimagine and redesign this for women. We've got the same basic structure. Like, yeah, you can take your business playbook, I promise you, and you can take it to a bank or an investor, because everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get the funding and finance for you. We were talking with a grant specialist the other day, because we're looking at how to do grants, because everyone says there's money out there for female entrepreneurs. And we're like, great. Where?
Yeah.
Right. And she goes, yeah, she's like, so her whole thing is to be a disruptive grant specialist. So she's actually out there to disrupt and break through barriers around that. She's advocating for more of that availability of this women's funding without all these hoops that we're supposed to jump through. So it was really interesting talking to her. And her one big thing I will tell you that she said that I thought was brilliant. She goes, women create the best business plans. They're methodical.
Mm-hmm.
They're organized.
Mm-hmm.
The ideas, everything is
Yep.
so well put together. She goes,
Yep.
where women failed to get the money is that they've undervalued their service.
Absolutely.
She was talking to a banker.
And she was talking to a banker about this.
Yeah. So like business loans and that kind of stuff.
Because they're like, you've got to be able to pay this back. Like, if I'm giving you the loan, you've got to be able to pay this back. And I know that was a big piece when we started talking about finances inside of the playbook, right? We actually say, what are your expenses? What does the price of this product have to actually be for you to create a viable business, right? And we really had to go through a lot of the mindset that women are go through, a lot of the pre-program that we've had for hundreds, I mean, centuries of programming that we are subconsciously holding on to. That's not even ours. Like, it's not even our truths, right? And these are the truth bombs we drop inside of this academy. So it was really interesting to go through this journey, because I was like, that's one of the things we really pick at. We talk about it in the MVP. What is your most viable product? Because that's the languaging banks and financial institutions and grants want to hear. So we teach you the language that you're going to need to know, but we're also showing you how to look at this a little differently, right? We talk about how do you design your team, because they're going to want to know who you're going to bring on, who are you going to have you help do this, right? Like, and that conversation as women has been really, I mean, honestly, Karen and Heidi, sitting back, looking back at the first group that went through this, every single one of them just like, I feel like walked out of there lighter.
Yeah.
Right. Every time we delivered a piece of that training, that playbook, and we kind of dove into the thinking behind it and how women approach this, you could just see going, how come no one's ever taught this to us before? Right? How come there isn't anybody teaching this? Like, what's been missing? And we're like, yeah, that's why we're teaching it now. We recognize the missing. We all got stuck in our businesses. Heck, I walked out of a room at Karen's house. We were coming back for a trip going, I'm stuck. And Karen's like, you want a business partner? That's what we need to get unstuck. And Heidi's like, do you want another business partner? Get unstuck, right? Like, but the beauty of what we've created has just been so much fun. I am like so excited with what women are experiencing and their feedback has just been extraordinary. Now, are they going to become millionaires tomorrow? No. And we all know this, right? This is the journey. It's unlocking your millions, right? Unlocking my millions. We're all on the journey. And we know without a doubt, scientifically proven, the playbook we have and we've designed for you will get you to that $1 million. And it will do it with less stress, more fun,
Definitely.
a lot of play. And you'll find that yourself that you're getting shit done with ease, because we also recognize that to do it yourself, to implement some of this is difficult. So we've created time magic inside of this. Like, it's not just what we do for you, it's like, how do we support you? And I think that's one of the things that really sets us apart, is we're like the holistic piece. We're not just one part of the puzzle. Like, you come in, you get it all.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I don't care if you're a man or a woman or who you are more than just one small piece of your day. You're more than that. Like, it's so weird to me that people are like, oh yeah, I went out and I put on my hat for work, and then I came home and I put on my hat to be a chef, and then I came home and I put on my hat to be a mom. Like, why are we putting on hats? Just be a person. Just be that person throughout your day. Don't put on those hats. And this was part of my, like, okay, yeah, I got to let go a lot of things for myself where I was putting on different hats.
Yeah.
No, just be me. Just let it go. The fun things that you want to do, let those be the shining part of who you are, because that's who you are. You want to have fun. You want to show up. You want to have fun. Heidi wants to show up and be the planner. Be the planner. Yeah. I literally, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I showed up on Zoom and I was like, guys, I just want to have fun. Like, I'm just tired of like taking it so seriously. I just want to enjoy and have fun, because that's what I'm good at. That's what people know me for. Whenever you spend time with me, you're like, oh, we're going to laugh because I want to laugh. I don't want to sit there and just stare at you, because that's kind of boring. But
I like laughing. We can laugh more. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Actually, if we stare at each other, it'll probably turn into a laughing.
We usually turn into giggles.
Well, we didn't start this whole episode laughing our butt off because none of us could figure out how to start this episode. And that'll probably be bleeped out, but it'll show up as a blooper later. I'm almost positive.
It's really funny.
Yeah. So, but for me, like, I just, like, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't take things so seriously. And that's what I did at the hospital for years. And that's what started my gut issues. And it was like, oh yeah, like this week was a very heavy reminder of, you're doing it again. Oh yeah, I'm doing it again. I can let that go, I swear.
It'll be a little bit of a journey, but gosh darn it, I'm going to make this happen.
I mean, seriously though, like, I'm pretty sure every time somebody, like, whenever I would tell people, oh yeah, I have a gluten intolerance, and then later I would be like, oh yeah, I don't really have that anymore, people would look at me like, the fuck? That's not a thing. Like, you don't just lose that. And it's like, oh yeah, no, but I changed my mind about it. And people don't get that. People don't understand that you have so much friggin' power in your little mind. You have no idea the possibilities. If you had, so let's just talk about this for a second, because this gets me all jazzed up. So,
I can tell.
I know, right?
A little bit.
Don't get all jazzed up. Get all excited.
I know, right?
Boogie.
So you go your entire life, right? You're living your thing, and then suddenly, bam, oh my gosh, I have diabetes. Where did it come from? There was a thought process that kept rolling over and over and over again. It created it. So if you turned it on, don't you think you can turn it off? Okay, I'm going to piss some people off whenever you hear this episode. But like, think about that for a second. We are literally created in such a way that when we think a thing over and over again, we create it in our life some way, shape, or form.
We expand it.
Exactly. And so if you've turned on something in your body that you don't want to turn on, I am not kidding when I say I have met people that are like, oh yeah, I wasn't in a wheelchair. I was in a friggin' wheelchair last year. You would never know. You would have no idea. I am not kidding. The amount of people that I have met that it's like, oh my God, that should never happen. And I'm in healthcare. I have met people that are like, I was blind and now I can see. This is weird, guys, but this is what the possibility is when you realize how powerful you are. And this relates whether you're talking about your life, your family, your business, it doesn't matter. You can change your reality simply by going inside and going, what's the pattern? What's the pattern that I'm stuck in?
And it's really interesting that you talk about it too, because I don't share this much, but I was starting to find myself becoming dairy intolerant. Like it would start to upset my stomach. I started recognizing that I wasn't able to eat the cheese, the ice cream, like all that was starting to become a big issue. And I remember having a thought about that. It's like, I don't want to become dairy intolerant. Like that sucks, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it, I probably didn't process it in the way that you're going through it. I think it was more of just like, I don't choose to be this, right? Like and my body is saying something, so I need to adjust something in my thinking. And I wasn't going to choose to be gluten or dairy intolerant. Like I was like, well, that just doesn't make sense. And today I promise you, I can eat ice cream like nobody's business.
Yes, she can.
I still
Yes,
eat
she
cheese like
can.
nobody's business. But I remember that moment where my stomach would get really upset. I would get like gaseous. I would get like starting to get cramps after eating ice cream, like things like that would start to bother me. And I said, this isn't the what I wanted. This isn't the path I choose anymore. And I remember I was in culinary, I was in the kitchen and I was telling people, I said, you know what, I'm starting to feel like I'm dairy intolerant. Like, well, maybe you are. And I said, you know what, that's a lie I'm telling myself. Like that isn't really what I want in my life. And the more I give it fuel, my body will only say, well, then I'm not going to process this. I'm not going to take it. Right.
Yeah.
And so I just remember there was a moment where I did step back from dairy. Like I let my body reset. Right. I've kind of deleted a lot of that out of it for a while. And then I started reintroducing it back in. And, I definitely had been going through some like the personal development, personal and business development. A lot of it was about changing my mindset. I had a lot of clarity. I started letting a lot of things go that I was, beliefs that I had. And so that was, part of that journey. But it was so interesting when you talk about that, Karen, because I'm just now realizing the correlation really between that moment and where a lot of the things began to shift, because I chose that like that wasn't how I wanted to live my life. Like I didn't want this in my life. So you're going to say like this isn't possible. Like there's no way you have the ability to think and change that, but you do. You actually have a complete ability to reset your entire body inside of what you really want, what you want to create. And it's the mental choices you make, right? It's because we're talking about like food all the time now. We're talking about like what we're eating. It's so crazy. But it's also like you can go on a diet, but a diet is a moment, right? This up here and choosing how you want to feel in your life, how you want your health to be, can reset it. This is why you'll hear people that say they've had cancer and no longer have it. It's just their will to live. That when they say it's their will to live, it's the reprogramming. It's the thought process up here that they've really had to adjust to have the internal impact in their body. So I love this conversation. I mean, we can go down this route all day long.
We can. And it's like, and I love like the book, one of the books we talk about a lot, and it's inside of Truth Bomb Academy, The Science of Getting Rich. One of the quotes from that book is like, the thought is the only power that creates tangible results.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and so much of what we think about, I mean, the thing about it's like everything that's been created eventually once upon a time was a thought in somebody's head. They didn't just create this mug out of thin air. They thought about it and then they created it, but it started with a thought.
Yeah.
Everything starts with a thought. And it's like, and our bodies are no different. It's like how our bodies react to things, how we react to things physically, emotionally, in every way starts with a thought. How far do you let that thought affect you? Or do you say, oh, that's just crazy silliness? Or do you actually give it the weight that it deserves?
Mm.
And this isn't an easy process because sometimes those little sneaky little subconscious bastards in your back of your brain, you don't even know that they're there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just kind of on their little pedals, going away, doing their thing. They've been going on since you were 2 years old. You didn't know that they were going on. I get it, guys. This is not an easy process. I have literally been this past week actually pleading, please let me figure this out sooner rather than later. I get it. It is not an easy process.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it when you
Well,
figure it out.
it is. And also, and I think I remember, I don't know exactly the same quote, but it's like, this is your life. Right. And you as a human being in this world will always be at work on yourself. It is an ongoing journey. And the question I have for you, for all of our listeners and everything else is, would you rather go on a journey by yourself, which could be fun for some of you?
Boring.
Would you rather go on a journey? Yeah, see, event planner right there. Boring. Would you rather go on an adventure with people that are just telling you what to do and giving you guidance and saying this has to be the way, right? Or would you rather go on a journey where you get to explore what you're naturally good at and really embrace it? Because one of the things I found with the women that are going through here, some of them came in with a business. Some of them came with an idea of a business they wanted to create. Some are currently going through courses and trainings beyond us because we're not going to teach you everything, right? Like you're going to have to go specialize in different areas. But what's been interesting is that every single one of them said that this is where they want to be as they build their business. They would rather be in this conversation, going through this training and learning a new approach as women that really support them. Every single one of them says there's like, if you want to get a hold of them, they would say, come into the Truth Bomb Academy and find me here because this is the conversation I want to be around. And I think that's a great testament to what we're building inside the academy. Unlocking My Millions is brilliant. I'm not going to lie. I think the three of us brilliantly created something that it's of another world. I will tell you that. It feels vastly different from anything I've seen out there. And I've seen a lot of stuff out there. I know we all have, and I know without a doubt we are truly going to create some massive transformations in women around the world by their experience and what they go through and what they take away from unlocking my millions. So yeah.
Yep.
So with that, we're going to wrap up this episode because I know we've got lots more to share with you. And in the next couple of episodes, we're going to be talking about a whole variety of different ways that women how we're changing the conversation for women in business. So you guys are going to absolutely want to stick around and listen in for that. And if you haven't already, head over to truthbombmarketing.com. Learn more about what we're building. I'd absolutely invite you to come and listen for yourself and take part in this and hear a new conversation that doesn't exist outside of Truth Bomb Academy. Not in the way we present it. So it is unique. It's fun because we laugh.
Yes.
Don't laugh
a lot.
all the time.
A lot.
All the time.
I don't laugh. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we do. And for those of you that are listening on your favorite podcasting station, we love reviews. So if you're getting, listen to her.
5.
So,
5 stars. Not 4, 5.
Yep.
5.
So
5
it's only 5s we're allowed.
Only 5s.
And if you've got a 4, please write to our support team at support@truthbombmarketing.com and let them know what you want changed.
Yes, I'll change it.
And we may or may not listen to you.
True story. True story.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I probably pissed some people off today, but oh well, it is what it is.
Hey, we're looking for the women that really wants to change, right? And if you're that woman, then we've got something that is going to revolutionize everything you know about your life, your health, your business, your family, your love, all of it. Because we focus in on you and who you are in the world. And I love that with what we're teaching. So with that, we wish you adios, goodbye,
Adios, goodbye.
hasta luego. And we will see you all in the next episode of Did She Really? say that?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
did
Yes, she did.
actually.
Mhm.
I pissed you off, but I did it. I did it. Mhm.
Good job. Good job.